كنت بدرعة ببلد اسمها غضاغب. كانت طبعا حياة بسيطة وكنا مرتاحين مكيفين وعيشة يعني عيشة عقدنا، يعني عايشين وجد كان في أمان. طبعا أول يعني بدي أقول لك من أول شهر بدت فيها الثورة حسيت إنه يعني صارت العيشة صعبة. من أول شهر تغيرت الحالة، يعني صارت العيشة صعبة، يعني صار في خوف في رعب، يعني ما عاد في استقرار، يعني إنك تقعدي أنت مرتاحة ببيتك مثل ما كنتي. إحنا بس شفت أن يوم ضربت طيارة ببلدنا، كان هي صغيرة كانت، يعني صار لي 4 سنوات، كان عمرها شي 7 سنوات. احنا واقفين برا الدار، اجت طيارة غربت، احنا بلدنا صاير بالنص. يوم غربت احنا فكرناها راحت على مغرب، يعني يوم رجعت قامت فتحت جدار صوت وضربت، يعني قدامنا احنا عم نطلع عليها. هي كانت واقفة على الحيط فوق، ما عرفت شلون نزلت، هي طلعت تفرج انه وين رايحة. يوم رجعت عاد يوم فتحت جدار الصوت وضربت، هاي الحادثة انا شفتها بعيني.
The planes destroyed my school and destroyed my home. That's very difficult, and I was very suffering there.
The airplane above us and the terrorists around us. We decided to leave the village and all the area and to come to a safe place because they feel really dangerous there in my country in Syria.
هلا الجيش الحر دخل مدة شهر، أخذ الرقم الكامل، يعني أحداث كانت سريعة. اجت فصائل من داعش تمركزت حاجز أو حاجزين، بعدين سيطروا على المنطقة كامل، صار دمار بالرقة وصار معارك طاحنة بين الجيش الحر جبهة النصرة وداعش، بس بالآخر سيطروا. ما يعني حياة انقلبت رأس على عقل، ما فاتوا بكل همجية، فاتوا بكل يعني مناظر مرعبة للعالم للشعب، ما عاد حدا يقدر يوقف بوجهه، ما ظل يسب للعيش. عندي بنات يسووهن ويسووا كل من يقول أنا داعش، ما بدي أخليهم تحت
بالنهاية صاروا يشوفوا كتير شغلات وشافوا قبل ما نطلع
فرض عليهم، يعني ما فيك تكذب.
فحاولت لجنى وتاج قدر الإمكان أقرب لهم الفكرة، إنه فكرة إنه في حرب، في مشكلة، في شيء، إنه خلص بدنا نكذب عليهم لأيمت، وهني شافوا الدم قدامهم. يعني نحن وطالعين من حمص، يعني نزلوا أبوه من السيارة، رفعوا سلاح على أبوهم، شافت جنى واحد متقوس شاب قدامه ودمه نازل من بطنه، عرفت كيف؟
فجنى ضلت هون عن السنة لهلا بتخاف، لهلا يعني عندها خوف. جنى كانت أوعى شيء يعني.
The terrorists asked my father to get married me. Then my father refuses that. Next day, we decided to escape from our village. We escaped to other town, then to other one, until we arrived to the border of Jordan.
بالنسبة لنا إنه رايحين بس مش متوقعين قدامنا شيء، إنه خلص بس إنه بدنا نوصل لمكان إنه يكون آمن، إنه يعني بدي أني أمن لأولادي وين ما كان، لو بالصحراء لو شو، إنه ما حدا مثلاً إنه نتضرر لا أني ولا أولادي. بضمن رحلتنا كثير لقينا صعوبة، يعني أول مرة إجينا تقريباً مشينا شي 3 كيلو والدنيا برد وكان منخفض ثلج. يعني إحنا وصلنا أول يوم، طلعنا قبل بيوم الظهر وصلنا ثاني يوم 6 الصبح. يعني إحنا طالعين مش عاملين كمان حسابنا بطلعة للأردن، طلعنا على الصورة كمان، هربنا من الأحداث اللي هي كانت بقرفة وطلعنا، يعني مو عاملين حسابنا بأي شيء. وتصوري طفل رضيع مثلا وأطفال وهاي ما في لك على مستوى حرام ما طلعنا معنا إني ألف الصبي. يعني طالعين من خوف، مش طالعين والله مثلا مهيئين وضعنا من قبل بيوم أو قبل بوقت أو هاي. يعني هذا القرار كلياته خلال ساعة أخذناه.
قعدنا شي شهر لما انقطع السبل. طلعت على تركيا لوحدي، اشتغلت تركيا شي 3 شهور. بعدين رجعت، كنا ما بنعرف اخبار عن اهلها نهائيا. توفى ابوها، ما دريت عنه شيء. بالصدفه بتركيا لقيت اللي ما جوز اختها حكى لي انه هون بالاردن. اهلها 4 سنين ما بنعرف عنهم شيء ولا تعرف هي عنهم شيء، وتوفى ابوها ما تعرف عنهم شيء، وما تعرف لا اخواتها ولا امها وين صارت، لحتى اجاني خبر من جوز اختها انه صاروا هون بالاردن. فتواصلنا معهم وقررنا انه نطلع. بعد ما اجيت من تركيا قررت اني اطلع، لانه يعني جيت لقيت الواحد ببيته ما يقدر يتصرف، ما يقدر يتحرك.
كانت رحلة صعبة يعني أكيد، لأنه طالع قاطع مناطق تقريبا شي 100 كيلومتر، كلها مناطق كانت يعني جبهة. وكان بعدين الطريق صحراوي، يعني اضطروا إنه يفوتوا بالصحراء ونبات ولحتى يخف إطلاق النار وصلنا له.
They fully expected to go back. Initially it was a few weeks later, then maybe a few months. But then probably from mid-2013, the realization that they would be here for much longer. What the government asked us to do in July of 2012 was to start pitching tents. Today, those first tents have become the 530-hectare site, which was really a city that goes by the name of AZRAQ.
Now, a population of 80,000. It's the largest camp in the region supporting Syrian refugees. We're about 12 kilometers now from the Syrian border. The camp itself was established in July of 2012, simply because of the volume of people that were crossing the border. This was AZRAQ camp when it was first established. You're talking about here a population of around 12,000 people. This is where we are in the moment in base camp. So a lot of the original services are clustered in this area. But very quickly the camp's population grew to include districts 1, 2 and 12. And then from here across this whole territory, it's about 5 square kilometers in total.
طبعا بتذكر أول ما فتت كان الجو شوي بارد، شبه صدمة إنه كنت عايش ببيت وفجأة بدي أعيش بعلبة كبريت من حديد. كان وصفي إلها أول ما أجيت، فقررت إنه يعني خلص واقع لازم أعيشه وأرضى فيه علشان ألاقيه حلو، ولازم أشغل نفسي بأمور إيجابية مش سلبية عشان أقدر أعيش بقناعة ورضا.
Refugees are increasingly desperate for not for the short term anymore, an immediate relief, but for the longer term. And so while you have the pressures, the financial pressures, situations where they've exhausted their savings, many haven't been able to find dignified or decently paid work, they are still not as able as refugees to function as Jordanians might in their own country. You have a problem then looking to the longer term. What will become of children who can't get back into formal schooling? What happens to young adults who'd like to marry, start a family? What happens to the elderly who wonder now if they'll be buried in exile? So you have people trying to give more meaning and longer term perspective to their lives this far into the crisis.
بالنسبة لأطفالي بحب إنه يكونوا أحسن الناس، بحبهم إنه يتعلموا، يسعوا دائما للأفضل، بدي إياهم إنه دائما مع الناس يكون في ألفة، في مثلا صداقة. يعني هاي أنا بالنسبة لأطفالي أول شيء التعليم، وبحبهم يكونوا بأحسن المراتب.
Children under the age of 18 represent 57% of the population. Then we have 21% under 5 years old. So at the age of school, children are almost 6% of the population. Sometimes the refugees are arriving after the second semester of the scholastic year, so they are not enrolled until the next year. However, they are enrolled in the informal education. There are so many children who have experienced multiple displacement in their country of origin in Syria, and that's why it takes them longer here to catch up with the system over here.
We all want to be able to do what we can to mitigate the terrible suffering and to ensure that people are protected. It's the young children who, if they cannot go to school, if they can't have the discipline of learning, if they can't have their curiosity satisfied, apart from the fact that we're allowing a whole generation to be lost, which is absolutely terrible, it's also that providing education is equally a necessary thing to do. Otherwise, we're going to ask those who, when eventually there is sufficient peace, whatever is left of a country or a peoples, to be able to recover. If we haven't given education to those young people, they'll be the generation who are meant to be able to put it all back together again, and they won't have the capacity, they won't be equipped to do it.
يعني أنا أحس أولادي يعني ما لهم مستقبل صراحة، يعني هم يحبون الدراسة ويحبون إنه يصير عندهم مستقبل، بس أنا يعني حاسة إنه ما في مستقبل، لأنه من هسه ما في يعني لا تعليم، يعني اندفاع قوي للتعليم ولا أي شيء هيك. والإنسان بس ما يكون من الطفولة عنده اندفاع قوي للتعليم، أحس يعني إنه مستقبله ما له، بس يكبر على الفاضي. بالأخير يعني ما راح نحصد إشي يعني لهم، هم تعبانين وأنا تعبانة يعني على الفاضي. ما راح يعني إنه يجيبوا شهادات عالية إنه يعني تعبهم أنتجوا منه، لا.
It's that loss of optimism, the loss of human capital at every level, from children who are attending double-shifted schools and so having shorter days on, not the Syrian curriculum, but the Jordanian curriculum. People who finish secondary school, and of course there are many very driven to continue studies, but what do they do afterwards? What do young adults do? What do proud, competent professionals do if they're not employed at anywhere near the level that they are used to and able to. We see in those situations rise in domestic violence, psychological difficulties, real loss of hope and optimism for the future. When you consider that Syrians have rarely, if ever, in recorded history, been refugees themselves, what that means for a family which has never even contemplated the idea of leaving a piece of land or a town that they've known for hundreds, if not thousands of years, it's completely destabilizing. So the sense of purpose, both for children and adults, is just being eroded, I'm afraid, month after month and year after year.
In Syria, there is not a man, woman, or child from any walk of life who hasn't been impacted by the particular wretchedness of this particularly gruesome and protracted conflict. Syrians have watched huge parts of their historic and proud country reduced to rubble. The building blocks of civilian life have been gradually destroyed. The scale of humanitarian needs today is beyond any one of us. We all need to pull together in order to meet the scale that's required. We've had such a lot of money to have to raise to enable us to buy the programs that save the lives and protect the civilians through the conferences that were held, the first three that were held in Kuwait. And in particular, that was able to mobilize enormous amounts of resources from many, many participants, not just, of course, as you might expect, those from the first economic world, the Western world, but also in the region and many beyond.
Unfortunately, our programs were all relatively underfunded. Until now, our programs were all around 30% of our funding. With the Kuwaiti contribution, that has changed substantially the situation, and that has given us the margin of maneuver to now go on intensifying our efforts, even if, obviously, the needs until the end of June and until the end of the year will still request many other countries to follow the example of Kuwait and to engage in humanitarian aid.
The Kuwaiti people, the Kuwaiti government, but above all His Highness the Amir of Kuwait, have over a very long and consistent period of time demonstrated that very deep commitment, not just to the values, but to the practicalities of how you deliver humanitarian support and protection of civilians, and how we can move to an agenda where we can truly deliver on what the Secretary General has described in his agenda for humanity, the agenda to survive and thrive, so that people, wherever they are, however much they've been afflicted by crisis, can have the same sense of hope and confidence and the same sense of security that you and I would take for granted.
It's a huge ongoing financial cost. None of this could be done without the support that we get from the international community. The US overwhelmingly our largest supporter. The European Union, Japan, the UK, Germany is a very significant supporter. This has been invaluable in responding to some of these core essential needs. Here in Zatari, we've benefited specifically from the support of Gulf donors, I think to an unprecedented level. The most visible example of this is the prefabricated housing, which allowed people to get out of tents into more durable shelter options that could support them for what is now a number of years. And I remember cases going back 2 years where refugees were being flooded out of tents in the winter simply because of the volume of snow that were landing on top of the tents. Thankfully, we were receiving these donations from Gulf countries, so once a family was flooded out of their tent, they could immediately transfer into these more prefabricated shelters, which of course, on the one side provide greater protection from the extreme elements. They also provide privacy and more dignity to an individual family and individual family members.
10,479 are the shelters in total, out of which 7,000 are donated by the Kuwaiti. Yes, it is more than the 7% or 8% of the shelters.
If we look at the healthcare sector, a large part of this is covered by Gulf donors exclusively through direct implementation, where you will have a Saudi-sponsored clinic, a Qatari-sponsored clinic, Kuwaiti, and so on. And this makes up what is overall 9 community-based primary healthcare clinics. We also have 2 field hospitals, one of which is run by the Moroccan military. And then aside from these fixed items, construction has been a very large area of support from the Gulf. Many of the schools have been built thanks to the support of Gulf donors, which is really wonderful.
Without the contribution of the donors, be it from the people, be it from the government, be it the official, the formal one and the private one, we would have not reached the level that we are here. Because of all this assistance or donations coming, refugees are living with dignity inside the camp, and the gap of the unmet needs is narrowing. We see it narrowing. So we encourage all the donors to continue. We are looking for sustainability.
A lot of the money went to Lebanon and to Jordan as the countries that need a lot of attention. Projects related to direct financial aid to refugees, projects that are related to women and children, protection of women and children, basic needs, registration. For instance, we have worked on projects that aim to support and registering refugees, because it is the first step in providing protection to one of the first steps to provide protection to refugees.
There are people that are coming from an upper middle income country, so they have the same needs and priorities as you and I would have. So I mentioned previously the fact that you had a lot of separated families. So when you had the first arrivals to the camp, aside from the basic essentials, a priority immediately was how do I charge my phone? How am I able to contact my wider family back in Syria that have remained?
People started see the lights on the streets and they don't have electricity at home. So they start tapping into the network, which is not designed for the household consumption. And from there we start having issues with electricity, many faults, many cuts. But then UNHCR start thinking we need to develop this sector and have proper grid for the refugees.
I think it really became a test case to consider access to energy as part of the basic package of services. So now we have the largest electrical network supporting any refugee population in the world with individual household connections. It's regulated the supply at the district level, just providing energy from 6 in the evening until 2 in the morning.
On a monthly basis, it comes from Kuwait country, from Amir of Kuwait, to donate to cover all refugee consumption. So and it's a huge amount of money because in Jordan we're paying a high tariff to supply electricity to the camp. So it's a great contribution to help refugees receive electricity. It makes the camp a livable place. Otherwise, it will be just dark at night with no electricity, no activities, nothing to do. So people actually have something to do when they have electricity. They can at least meet and chat to each other, watch TV, they can do their activities freely.
The essential ingredient is that we do need to find a way of getting the politics fixed. We have to use politics and diplomacy to get to a peaceful world, because as long as the guns are firing, as long as the bombs are dropping, there is going to be continuing fear, continuing humanitarian need, and all of us will be asked to dig deeper and deeper, not just into our pockets for enormous amounts of money, but into the reserves of our goodwill to be able to support people in these terrible crises, which they've done nothing to deserve, and they are just people who could either be you and me suddenly thrust into crisis. So it doesn't matter, in a sense, where you are when these crises hit. They should and can expect the rest of the world to mobilize to come to their aid.
We will muddle through, perhaps, leaving many, I'm afraid, below the poverty line, but still we will be able to cover the needs, we hope, of the most urgent. That's the physical needs. What will they be able to do to complete an education, to start a family, to earn a living, to train and prepare eventually for a return to Syria? I think those are much more troubling, and where we have far fewer answers.
لا بنتمنى انه اول شيء انه تخلص هاي المشاكل، هاي اول امنية، حتى لو ما رجعنا نحن على سوريا. يعني احتمال نحن ما نقدر نرجع فورا بعد كل هذا الدمار اللي صار. وتاني أمني يعني إنه مستقبل أولادنا يكون منيح. يعني حلمنا إنه مجال التعليم يكون يعني مأمن لسه أكتر من هيك. وفي حلم نحن صرنا عم نتناساه يعني ضمن الواقع هذا، لأنه بنقول يعني حسينا آخر شيء إنه ما من حقنا يعني نحن نحلم فيه والناس هيك عم بصير فيها، اللي هو إنه نقدر نلبي حتى طلباتهم، يعني نقدر نعيشهم هذا المستوى اللي لو كنا بسوريا كنا عيشناهم فيها.
My dream is I will become a doctor or a journalist, yes. To write about the living here and the difficulties that we face it. We must become something to build our country, Syria. We can't buy time and we can't grow time. We can't ask for more time. We can only lose time. And after we lose time, we have no idea how much time we even have left. Yeah, and we should be a diamond in world of rocks.
لما فكرت انها علبة كبريت، فبنفس الوقت فكرت انه علبة الكبريت منها بنقدر نبني حياة، او الحياة مش راح تصير بدون علبة كبريت. عشان هيك قدرت اتقبلها. حاليا بطلت اقول علبة كبريت وبطلت اقول شلتر او كرفان. لما يحكي لي حدا وين رايح بحكي له رايح على البيت، عم بحكي عنها بيت مش اي شيء ثاني.
يعني احنا هون بالمخيم يعني بنعتبر حالنا كلياتنا اهل، يعني مثل هالحزب، يعني كلنا بنتعاطف مع بعض، كلنا بنحب بعض، كلنا بنحن على بعض، يعني كل واحد بحس بمأساة الثاني، كل واحد بحب يعطي الثاني، كل واحد بحب يود الثاني. يعني يوم أنا بشوف مثلا جاري عنده مريض يعني بمرض معه بعاونه، وكمان نفسه جاري، يعني كلنا نفس المأساة نفس المعاناة. يعني كلنا بنحس ببعض، يعني بنود بعض. يعني المخيم سوريا الثاني ده السوريين.
We must have a hopefulness, yes. We must have a hopefulness and look and forward. Look to other one how he build himself and believe in ourselves. Yes.
كل إنسان بحب يرجع لبلده، بحب يستقر، وبحب يعني أملي إنهم يرجعوا على بلادهم، يشتغلوا، يكونوا حالهم، يعني يستقروا. يعني هسا إحنا لاجئين، يعني ما بنقدر يعني مثل يعني مؤقتين. إحنا يعني كلنا الشعب السوري حاسين إنه إحنا هون مؤقتين بس. أما إحنا كمان، أنا بعتذر عن كلمة لاجئ، إحنا ما لاجئين لهسا، إحنا ناجين بعدنا، ناجين من حرب، ما لاجئين. بكره هاي الكلمة أصلا، ما بحب أحكيها، ولا حتى بالنسبة لأي سوري ما بحب يقول عن حاله إنه لاجئ. دائما بحب يقول إنه أنا ناجي. بعدنا إحنا ناجين من حرب، ما لاجئين.